Happening now, storm damage assessment.
The waves were 7 to 8 feet, and it was just a massive amount of water.
We're taking a look at the areas most impacted by the weekend's record-breaking blizzard. And we have the latest on a late-night shooting in Jamestown, plus period poverty.
Period products are a necessary product.
How homeless shelters benefit from a law breaking down barriers.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, one person was hurt following a shooting on Jamestown's south side. Jamestown police officers were called to the intersection of Newland Avenue and Park Street around 9 o'clock Tuesday night. The victim was taken to UPMC Chautauqua Hospital via a private vehicle before EMS crews arrived on scene there. Now, initially, their injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. Detectives continue to investigate the incident today and are expected to provide an update sometime in the afternoon. You can stay up to date with the latest on this developing story at WNYNewsNow.com and in our free mobile app for iPhone and Android devices. A 23-year-old man was allegedly busted with a loaded pistol following an investigation on Jamestown's east side. On Monday, officers with Jamestown Police responded to Eagle Street area for a reported person with a weapon around 5:30 in the morning. Kristen Jewell was arrested at the intersection of Eagle and Scioto Streets after allegedly failing to comply with officers' orders. Following a search of his person, patrol personnel said they recovered a loaded .38 caliber, which Jewell did not possess a New York State pistol permit for. He was taken to Jamestown City Jail and held pending arraignment. He faces several charges, including criminal possession of a weapon and obstructing governmental administration. Well, after parts of western New York was hit hard by a record-breaking blizzard, officials in Chautauqua County, they're now surveying damage and still helping many dig out. Our Bronson Rasmussen joining us live now from the newsroom today with more on what officials are saying about this storm, which, Bronson, is really for the record books.
Snow and ice in parts of northern Chautauqua County over the holiday weekend. Right now, all eyes are on Buffalo, with a few local fire departments, including crews out of Forestville, dispatched to help those in the Queen City.
A request statewide went out for tracked ATV and UTV assets from fire departments to respond to assist the City of Buffalo Fire Department and ambulances. So they responded. We canvassed our county, and they were able to commit to the 72-hour request that was made. And they responded up with their ATV and fire department truck and partnered up with AMR ambulance to facilitate getting patients out of areas that ambulances couldn't drive because of the road conditions.
Likening it to a hurricane, County Executive PJ Wendell says the most impacted areas lay along the Lake Erie shoreline, being bombarded with debris, ice, and water. This year, however, officials believe that ice buildup could have led to less damage.
I know, talking to Senator Borrello, that's one of the things he speculated. It was a little bit of an ice berm that was built up. He feels that bit of ice that was built up kind of stopped as much debris from coming in as has happened in the past. And if you recall, many of these SAIS storms that we've had, which now we've had 4 consecutive years, this was the first time there was some frozen, ice that he speculated, and others, I believe, as well, that stopped a lot of that water or debris from coming in.
To help prevent future storm damage, the county executive is looking at 2 solutions: federal relief and installing break walls.
There needs to be, some sort of relief. I know the federal government's been declared Buffalo a disaster area in Erie County, but I'd like to see it, what our damages are.
As for the emergency response before, during, and after the storm, credit goes to the brave first responders working during the holiday.
The first responders, the law enforcement, the line workers, the utility workers, everyone that keeps every asset of life going for our community. Those are truly the people that are the unsung heroes of this event. Giving up countless hours with family just to make sure everyone else has a good time.
Executive Wendell is currently working with New York U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer to lower the cap for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, to cover damages here in Chautauqua County. Reporting live in the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you. A push to help furry friends find a forever home this holiday season has been extended. The Chautauqua County Humane Society's Season of Hope adoption continues through Friday, with the goal of getting over 100 animals into loving homes through adoption or fostering. So far, over 60 animals have been adopted, with 15 going to foster families. As part of the adoption drive, fees are 50% off during the holidays. To view available animals and learn more about the Chautauqua County Humane Society's Season of Hope Drive, head on over to chqhumane.org. Well, now let's switch gears and get a first check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us now from, you can be, right, I know, you've done, it's stuck. Sometimes it just gets stuck in your head as rules change around. But nevertheless, great to have you here with us today, Dakota. And one of the things that we've been watching and been talking about is this winter storm. Thankfully, though, it seems like all the snow has stopped falling, even in places like Randolph there.
Yes, the snow has finally come to an end, but air. Hello.
Yeah, we don't hear you. It seems like your microphone may be off. That's possible.
I left it on.
There you go.
Hello, folks. All right. The Randolph Peaches and Cream Skycam showing you we've got the sun peeking through behind the banner right now. All that's eating into my weather time now. All right, let's go into the satellite and radar composite. Notice a few clouds moving on in, but otherwise I think we're going to be partly to mostly sunny throughout much of this afternoon, and it's not going to be as chilly as it was last week or this weekend either. We only managed 21 for the high yesterday. Now 20 was the low, but temperatures have been rising ever since midnight, so that 20 was pretty much early in the night. 58 and 15 below are the records. So through the afternoon today, partly to mostly sunny. It's not going to be as chilly with at least a little bit of a breeze. Temperatures will be in the upper 30s to around 43 at the lakeshore with that southwest wind. But warm air comes over the New Year's Eve weekend. We'll talk about it with the Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-Day later on in the show.
All right, Dakota, thank you. As we roll along, the billing changes that are now in place for one local fire department. And later, we're continuing our special report series highlighting efforts in New York State to combat period poverty, how homeless shelters benefit when we return.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
This month, the Lakewood Fire Department has started to bill for emergency medical services. As part of recently passed state legislation, the newly created Lakewood EMS department will bill health insurance companies and/or Medicare and Medicaid for medical services. Patients specifically will not be billed for care. However, additional information will be requested upon treatment. In most cases, a village resident won't have a copay when in need of medical emergency. The Mayville-Chautauqua Community Chamber is deep into planning for the 2023 Mayville Winter Festival. The Mayville Winter Festival is scheduled for February 17th, featuring the Ice Castle. However, guests will notice some changes to this year's event. The children's area tent has been removed and a new children's area will take place closer to the playground. The new location will allow the kiddos to participate in more events and will be heated. The location of the chili cook-off will also be changed this year. It will be hosted in its own 10x10 tent instead of a vendor tent there on site. Well, New York State leaders have set a goal to conserve 30% of the state's land and water by 2023. Governor Kathy Hochul signed legislation supportive of President Joe Biden's National Conservation Initiative, America the Beautiful. This new bill requires the Department of Environmental Conservation and the Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation to help develop strategies to achieve the legislation's goal. Some experts say this could make a significant impact. New York Policy and Strategic Director at the Natural Conservancy, Jessica Oatney, says the legislation will help address climate change and the loss of biodiversity, which is the loss of different types of plants and animals. She adds that this legislation goes beyond just protecting the environment.
In New York State, when we protect clean water and clean air through conservation, we're protecting our public health. We rely on the water in our state, whether it's our lakes and rivers or whether it's groundwater.
Now, this conservation initiative could also help New York's economy. Experts say there are a large number of jobs created through the conservation of natural resources. Well, continuing a special report on state legislation to combat period poverty, our New York Capitol correspondent Elise Klein talks to us about the bill's impacts on the homeless shelters and issues of period poverty as a whole.
Homeless shelters across the state say this legislation has made a difference for their members and has helped decrease the stigma around menstruation. For the second part of this special report, we take a look at the impact. When a person or a family comes to St. Paul's Center, a homeless shelter in Rensselaer, they often have next to nothing. Tracy Pitcher, executive director for St. Paul's, says being able to provide period products is significant for their members.
They're surprised and relieved because, especially with period products, they're expensive.
St. Paul's has 18 beds, and for the past year, Pitcher says they have been running at 99% occupancy. They store all of their period products in their stock room. Pitcher says they have, over the past year, been able to successfully keep the shelves stocked with tampons and pads of all sizes, but additional state funding would make a difference. She says they often have to do quite a bit of fundraising and rely on donations. In New York, 1 in 6 women and girls between the ages of 12 and 44 live below the federal poverty line, according to data from the Alliance for Period Supplies. Katie Rhodes, who helps run Catholic Charities, a homeless shelter in Chemung County, says that it can be very challenging to keep stocked period products for their members. They house over 100 people, and they receive most of their period products from community donations. Like Pitcher, Rhodes also says additional funding from the state could go a long way. She adds menstruating individuals often feel pressure to ration out the small amount of period products they have, which can lead to medical issues.
And we want them to feel like they don't have to have that problem, that we can assist them with that.
And while homeless shelters say that being able to help menstruators in need is significant for them, the legislation goes beyond that. It also helps combat the stigma around periods.
It references the fact that it's a medical need, and as a woman, that really was quite meaningful. Period products are a necessary product.
Homeless shelters advocates and lawmakers say overall this legislation has helped raise awareness and helped facilitate a conversation about period poverty in New York State. For WNY News Now, I'm Elise Klein.
Elise, thank you. Coming up, hear the story of a heroic rescue during the Buffalo blizzard. But when we return, a full look at our weather forecast. Stay with us. WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now. The Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Slow down, and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights, vests,
please give us some room.
slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
to help you,
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down, and move over.
move over.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
15-year-old Yadiel Diaz was subject to a public humiliation stunt by a fellow student in an act of violence and bullying. Now Yadiel's mother, Raquel, has had enough.
Officials are trying to work with the county's homeless coalition to help support the homeless population locally. There are also plans in the works to build 2 new shelters.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back, everybody. Wanted to give you a look at those slope conditions across the area ski resorts. Of course, all that snow that we had over the weekend really helping the ski resorts peak 12 to 24 inches with a packed powder surface. Holiday Valley 16 to 54, 16 to 52 machine groom surface. Hollymont 18 to 40 with a machine groom surface, and Mount Pleasant down there in Edinburgh officially opened with a 12 to 24 inch base with a machine groom packed powder surface. So great to get out there and enjoy the snow if you are a skier or a snowboarder. Now we've actually started to bring some ice out on Lake Erie. This is the modest satellite imagery, but this was from a few days ago. It's just been way too cloudy to get a good image of the lake. But as of right now, the Lake Erie ice coverage is up to 22.5%. And that's obviously likely due to the Arctic air that we had over the past couple of weeks, obviously helping to build some of that ice up on the lake right now. As we take a look at the HD News Now cam, sun out there right now. It's 36 degrees right now as of noon hour. A healthy southwest wind of 15. At least it's not as windy as it was over the weekend, but we still have a wind chill index of 27 degrees. The next weather maker really is going to be warm air coming in for New Year's. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. And look at the dark red color right here across the eastern Great Lakes. Yeah, we're talking above average temperatures likely. We're talking almost near 60 degrees for New Year's Eve and then going into New Year's Day. Yes, folks, we're ending this year on a mild note and we're starting next year on a mild note as well. So, you know, the problem is going to be with the warm up of the temperatures. We are going to see some snow melt and obviously some ice melt. So we have to keep our eyes on that for any potential flooding issues. But here's the newest run of Future Scan. The computer modeling showing you, yeah, just a few sun and clouds through the afternoon hours. I think more clouds than sunshine later on this afternoon. As we go into the overnight hours, partly to mostly cloudy through the overnight hours. Temperatures are not going to dip back too much, so it's not going to be too cold. Tomorrow, I think we'll see more sunshine, especially early in the day, but later in the day, clouds are going to start to thicken up. So notice the clouds starting to thicken up here by the time we go into the evening hours. And by the time we go into Friday, we are going to introduce the chance for at least a couple scattered showers, but not all day rain, and temperatures even go up from there as we go into the next holiday weekend. So the day planner for tomorrow looks like this. We start around freezing even. We should make it up to around 46 degrees here in the city, 47. And again, the sunshine early in the day will go behind some cloud cover. Now, in high definition, the next 7 days, maybe, of your life Here it comes. And you can see here by Thursday, 47, 52 on Friday. Now 50 on Saturday for New Year's Eve, 48 on Sunday. We've kind of lowered the temperatures a little bit. We think there might be a little bit more colder air to work with, but still that's well above average. And Justin, take a look at that. Tuesday, 56 degrees. That's well above average. Remember, the average high this time of the year is around 34. So oof, it's a tale of two seasons out here.
Yeah, it is. You would not think it's about to be the start of January, Dakota. Thank you very much. Well, let's get some headlines now from around the nation. And a controversial Trump-era border restriction will remain in place for now. On Tuesday, the U.S. Supreme Court ordered Title 42 to continue while legal challenges play out. The federal government uses the policy to expel asylum seekers without a hearing. The Trump administration instituted it in March of 2020 as a COVID precaution measure. The Supreme Court decision puts the federal trial court's ruling that found the policy was invalid on hold, while others are litigated on appeal. It also means federal officials will be able to continue to quickly expel migrants at the nation's borders, at least for the next several months. Well, another round of nationwide cancellations today as Southwest Airlines CEO apologizes for the travel mess and the Transportation Department vows to hold the airline accountable. Mike Valerio is tracking the latest and has a closer look at how stranded passengers are dealing with the meltdown and what may be to blame.
The travel meltdown continues Wednesday as 2,600 more flights are canceled nationwide, nearly all of them Southwest Airlines flights.
Right now, we just want to get on a plane.
The airline CEO, Bob Jordan, apologizing and saying more delays are likely this week, with no indication of when passengers would be rebooked.
Clearly, we need to double down on our already existing plans to upgrade systems for these extreme circumstances.
As some stranded travelers say, they likely won't get to their final destinations until after the new year.
Canceling flights for 4 days until the 1st for everybody, it's really unfortunate.
And as the travel woes leave thousands of people stranded overnight at airports or waiting in long lines, the unclaimed luggage is also piling up. Meantime, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is vowing to hold Southwest accountable for the mess he says it created, saying his department is taking a closer look at the problems and is prepared to issue fines if it's found that the airline didn't meet its legal obligations to passengers.
From what I can tell, Southwest is unable to locate even where their own crews are, let alone their own passengers, let alone baggage.
Southwest is blaming a series of issues that created a domino effect across the country, including last week's historic Arctic storm, aggressive flight scheduling, and outdated infrastructure. As both passengers and crew members try to make the best of the increasingly worsening situation. I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Mike, thank you. Now, today's cancellations follow several days of travel chaos, which started over the Christmas holiday weekend. Well, discounts and deals apparently swayed people into spending more during the holiday season. Monday, MasterCard reported holiday retail sales in the U.S. jumped over 7.5% compared to last year. The company looked at sales in stores and online from November 1st to December 24th. They say this year retailers discounted heavily while consumers went hunting for the best deals and made trade-offs to stretch their gifts budgets to accommodate inflation. Preliminary figures show online sales grew over 10.5% compared to the same period last year. Black Friday was still the top day for shoppers, with sales up more than 12% from last year. And consumers also dined out more, with the average person dining at restaurants up to 15%. Well, coming up next, the story behind a life-saving rescue during Buffalo's deadly blizzard.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
This year's theme, Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape, focuses on the importance of knowing your way out of a home or business in the event that a fire were to break out.
The Hullo Summer Festival in downtown Jamestown, and as you mentioned, the whole goal of this is to connect Jamestown's kids with things to do over the summer.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Right here, baby. Look. Uma.
Noah. Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
Welcome back. Finally here today, a true hero emerged during the deadly Buffalo area blizzard over the Christmas weekend. A woman found a man outside of her house suffering from frostbite, and she stopped at nothing to make sure he got the help he needed to survive. Gary Touchman has the story.
The worst of Mother Nature, bringing out the best of human nature. This is Buffalo resident Shakira Autry on Facebook Live.
I currently have an older 64-year-old white man in my house. I found him yesterday. I heard him screaming for help.
In the midst of Western New York's blizzard, Shakira spotted and heard the man in terrible pain in the frigid cold outside her house on the morning of Christmas Eve. Her boyfriend carried the man inside. That man is Joey White, seen in this picture at a Toronto Blue Jays baseball game.
He got away from his home that he lives in a group home, he told me.
Joey's sister says her brother is mentally challenged and does indeed live in a group home. He works at a movie theater and may have gotten scared during the blizzard and tried to walk home from the theater, getting lost in the heavy snow outside the mother of three's house. Shakira did her best to take care of him, to comfort him, feed him, and pleaded for help with phone calls and on Facebook Live.
This man is not about to die over here on 111. Y'all need to get this man some help.
But her neighborhood was virtually impassable. Christmas Eve became Christmas Day. Joey was in immense pain with severe frostbite on his hands.
No, you're not gonna die. We're not talking about death. See, this is how you know he needs help.
And that help was about to come. Good Samaritan showing up in a vehicle that could make it through the snow. Joey was on his way to the hospital.
I'm right here, Joe.
And Shakira rode with him.
Jesse, I'm right here. You okay? I love you too, sweetie.
Joey has severe frostbite and is in the ICU in the hospital burn unit. His sister Yvonne telling us it's touch and go whether his hands can be saved. But overall, he's in stable condition. And she is so grateful for Shakira Autry.
This woman did something that an angel would do, okay? To take in a perfectly a stranger, you took him in your home on Christmas Eve.
Gary Tuckman, Atlanta.
Wow, Gary, thank you so much. And you talk about the city of good neighbors, and there are stories like this popping up, I think, on every corner. Even just as Bronson was talking about at the top of the show, people here in Chautauqua County who are going up to help those in Buffalo. Still struggling right now, by the way. Our intern Kelly is still at home in Cheektowaga, stuck. So, but to save this man's life, and just to take a stranger in off the street, it seemed like that was a common theme we saw.
Well, I mean, you know, I can attest to that because in the 2014 Snowvember event, I lived in Buffalo at the time, and I can tell you that, you know, after the snow ended, we had everybody just people you didn't even know who lived down the street were helping dig each other out, and we're just helping each other. Be like, hey, you know, do you need anything? Do you need anything at the store? You know, and you know, I think Buffalo really lives up to its nickname, the city of good neighbors, and that's definitely a prime example of that. So definitely thank to her. I mean, you know, a huge, I mean, you know, And honestly, that's what you should do, to be honest with you.
Right. I think it's only human nature when it comes down to it, right? You're going to help somebody in need, and in this case, saved his life. Well, that is it for us today. We'll leave you with this live look over Chautauqua Lake. We'll see you back here tomorrow live at noon and all the time at WNYNewsNow.com.